वेलकम बैक नाज़रीन। अचो प्रोग्राम जे सिलसिले खे अॻिते वधायूं। ॻाल्हि ॿोल कयूं था इमाम याहया हिंदी साहब सां। पाण जेके आहिनि पंहिंजो आलिम दीन आहिनि, मज़हबी हवाले सां स्कॉलर आहिनि, अमरीका जी जॉर्ज टाउन यूनिवर्सिटी जा उस्ताद आहिनि। उन सां गॾोगॾु जेका अमरीकन मुस्लिम सोसाइटी आहे उन जा डायरेक्टर बि आहिनि। सो वी वर टॉकिंग अबाउट द Muslim societies that jihadi elements are.
By the way, let me say something about that. I do not call the terrorists jihadists. Because jihad for me means to do what is good to help the society. For me, taking care of my neighbors is jihad. For me, respecting my brothers and sisters is jihad. For me, planting a tree is jihad. For me, cleaning the highway and the street is jihad. Building hospitals is jihad. For me, political dialogue is jihad. For me, jihad means to do good. These terrorists are bloody, extremist, exclusivist terrorists. I would not claim that they have any legitimacy in Islam. And I speak against them in every way, shape, and form. They do not speak on behalf of the Quran. They do not speak on behalf of Muhammad, peace be with him, because Muhammad did not understand jihad to mean violence.
What were Badr? What was Uhud?
Well, Uhud and Badr were very defensive battles forced on Muslims.
But there were offensive battles also. There are offensive battles also.
No, they were not offensive battles. If we understand the history of Badr and Uhud and Khandaq, they were all defensive, were not offensive. Number two, they did not attack civilians. They did not kill women. They did not kill children. They did not attack religious sites. Let us be frank and honest about it. Prophet Muhammad said, even in self-defense, وَلَا تَعْتَدُوا إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يُحِبُّ الْمُعْتَدِينَ. Do not transgress, for God does not love transgressors. Muhammad said, if you come across a tree, do not destroy it. If you come across a monk, do not kill him. If you come across children and women, do not kill them. These terrorists, extremists, exclusivists, bloody bigots kill children, kill women, bomb mosques, and kill civilians. What happened on September 11 was un-Islamic. The suicide bombings in Iraq that we see every day are absolutely un-Islamic. The bombing of Shia mosques by Sunnis is un-Islamic. The bombing of Sunni mosques by Shia is un-Islamic. So that's what I'm talking about. It's un-Islamic to kill civilians in any way, shape, and form.
But they have the argument also.
I don't think they do. I mean, I respect your opinion, and I'm willing to dialogue with those extremists in public. It's transparent in our dialogue. Violence is no solution for the problems.
For example, just to inform you and just to open up the debate, they argue that there were only 3,000 people who were killed in 9/11. But in response, how many people are being killed in Iraq and Afghanistan? And
you keep going back to the war in Iraq. I told you that the war in Iraq was, for me as a private citizen, and I do not speak on behalf of the U.S. government. I speak as a private citizen.
War in Iraq fired up the sentiments of the Muslim society all over the world.
I agree with you. I think the war in Iraq was a historic mistake, that America is paying the price for it. But this is why we have Barack Obama. This is why we have a new president. This is why we have a new outreach to the Muslim world. And we want the Muslim world to reach out to us as well. President Barack Obama spoke about how we should not be paralyzed by the bitterness of the past. Let us move forward with a mutual understanding, a mutual respect between the Muslim world and America. Let's move forward.
So let us come to the Muslim societies. What do you think, what are the problems of Muslim societies? And how they can be solved, whether they should go on the path of secularism or whether they should go on the path of religion? How do you see? What are the problems and how those problems can be
Well,
solved?
I don't claim to have the magic touch on the Muslim world. As a Muslim, and I love Islam, as someone who knows the Quran, as someone who studied Islam, and I am an imam. I have a huge mosque with thousands of people who come to it and pray. And I would say, as a humble Muslim who travels around the world to meet with Muslims, I love Muslims, I love Islam, and I want Muslims to change some of what is within them. Number one for me is the lack of positive, peaceful religious education. And the solution for that is to reform our religious education, to reform our madrasas, and the way we teach religion to our children. Number two, the increased number of dictatorships in Arab and Muslim governments. The way to change that is that the people have to take over, so that our governments will be governments of the people, by the people, with democracy.
Like Iran?
With democracy.
You suggest like Iran?
No, I would not say like Iran. I would say like Malaysia. For me, Malaysia is a wonderful Muslim country with democracy. Turkey is a very good example for how a Muslim nation should be. Democracy, respect of the human rights, respect of science and education. And therefore, for me, the respect of the human rights, democracy, is quite essential in Muslim countries and in Muslim lands. I was really hurt when Benazir Bhutto was killed. I was hurt not because I agree or disagree with Benazir Bhutto. Actually, I had my own views about her politically. But for me, killing her, murdering her in that bloody way was un-Islamic, unacceptable, undemocratic, and must be rejected by all Muslims. At the end of the day, if you disagree with your political opponent, okay, solve the problem in a democratic way. Solve the problem with election, not with violence and not with hate and not with killing. So when I see Muslim countries, almost in every Muslim nation, there is a violent civil war going on. Why cannot we solve our conflicts with dialogue, with respect for all? So seculars have to be ready to listen to their opponents. Islamists have to be ready to listen to their opponents, and let the people decide what the people want in a democratic way, away from violence and away from calling each other's names. You are a traitor, and if you are a traitor, you have to be killed. Unacceptable.